Raise your hand if you guys have ever heard of the superstition where if you walk in front of a white kangaroo, it'll give you bad luck. No one? Maybe some of you up there? I remember those guys. Well, it's an animal that some Australians consider to give you bad luck. So me purposely walking right in front of this white kangaroo just doomed my future. If I actually happen to believe this, I'd be shaking right now. But I'm not. Simply because I agree with you all. Superstitions are just some dumb and illogical belief that people have made up, right? Half of the times, people don't listen to them anyways, and the sayings never come true. So why do I care so much about this? Hi, my name is Keene, and superstitions are much more than just irrational beliefs. They represent two extremely important psychological aspects in our daily lives. One, our confidence, and two, our gullibility. Now, before we can even begin, what can even be considered as a superstition? Well, it's small belief, often to do with luck, that is so bizarre that non-believers are going to call it false due to a lack of proof or reason behind it. Let's take the infamous number 13 as our example. How does one number in an infinite data set even be considered as unlucky? Well, there's actually an explanation behind it, and it comes from one of my first three explanations to the origin of superstition. Religion, the basis of all beliefs, and in this case, Christianity. According to the University of South Carolina, the reason this belief was formed was because the 13th guest at the Last Supper was Judas himself, the apostle who betrayed Jesus Christ and led to his crucifixion. Secondly, superstitions are a super effective way for parents to teach their children to quit unwanted habits. I myself am a victim of one particular Thai superstition. For context, when I was quite young, I would often put my head down on the dinner table while eating. This would then lead to my mom saying, "If you continue to eat while lying down, you'll turn into a snake." I was terrified of this, of course. Me being at the age of 5, I couldn't tell the difference between what was the truth and what was a lie. Rather than telling me it was a simple issue to do with indigestion, she knew I wouldn't listen, so she decided to target my dumb young brain with a scare tactic instead, and it worked. Still wanting to have the abilities to use my arms and legs, my head never rested on the table ever again. Thirdly, the psychological factor known as the confirmation bias explains exactly why superstitions still exist today, even when our brains are more advanced than ever. As humans, we have a tendency to look for the answers we are hoping for and turn a blind eye to the ones we don't want. For instance, Friday the 13th, a day considered to be filled with bad luck. You're more likely to notice the bad things that happen than the good things. Even if the good things do happen, you're more likely to call it as a fluke or as a coincidence. So combining the superstitions that our ancestors have made up with the confirmation bias, it explains exactly why superstitions have persisted throughout history until this very day. Now, you all are probably wondering why I'm wearing this baseball dress with the left side of my pants rolled up. So let's get to the story. During one of my baseball seasons in middle school, I had a friend named Oat, who wasn't particularly the best at batting the ball. But on one special evening, when our team was down 1 point at the bottom of the final inning, Oat went up to bat. We all hoped for something that could have changed the outcome of the swing, and we weren't even talking about his technique. "Hey, why is the left side of his pants rolled up?" As soon as someone yelled that, bam! The ball skyrocketed into the atmosphere. And for the rest of that season, our team wore one pant leg rolled up. And win after win after win continued on flowing in. But why was this the case? You see, when our team was losing, our mental and confidence level was at its lowest point. According to Yogi Berra, former New York Yankees member and Hall of Famer, he states that 90% of the game is mental, meaning that if our emotions were down, the chances of us winning would fall as well. Psychologically, Lucky Left created the illusion that we were in full control of our destiny, giving us the necessary mental strength for us to achieve victory. Medical news today confirms this, as they state superstitions are indeed a way of relieving anxiety about the unknown. This gave us the effect of feeling much more confident, yet relaxed, leading to us being much more focused throughout the rest of our games. But be careful. Superstitions can be a double-edged sword. When someone is so fixed by their own belief, it's hard for them to differentiate what is reality and what is an illusion made up by their own mind. For example, an extreme believer in the white kangaroo superstition could decide to never leave their house ever again in fear of seeing one. Although this might seem like a completely impractical example, think back to all the times in your childhood when you finally realize what your parents have been telling you have been a lie this entire time. At a young age, we believe exactly everything our parents say, meaning that if these misconceptions are never cleared up, the chances of us living in a delusional world continues. So what are the two things I want you guys to take away from this? 1. Superstitions aren't all about bad luck. They can be used to help build self-confidence and create comfort for the mind. But this is not to say to never study for a test again and only depend on your lucky charm. No. Still study for that test, but maybe on the day that you go in, I don't know, bring in your lucky pet rock. Even if you don't have one yet, you have the ability to go out there and find one. Or heck, literally anything in this world that you have used before and have produced you good results. As this would trick your brain into thinking these results are likely to happen again. But on the other hand, there has to be a balance. Remind yourself that at the end of the day, superstitions aren't some magical spell that can suddenly shift your entire destiny from you acing your math test to failing. Don't let your gullible self fall for the random beliefs you've heard from other people. Remember the white kangaroo superstition I've been talking about throughout my entire speech? Well, yeah, that's not true. So I don't know what you guys are doing up there for raising your hand. But this is your wake-up call to be aware of the information you are receiving. Don't let the superstitions that have entered through your subconscious mind be the one controlling you. So do the best in controlling the things you can, and don't let the things you can't control you. Thank you.